Phil talked a little about silence, and I think increasingly so that is becoming a theme in my own work, wherein I try and find the silent spaces, or I guess more accurately, the largest silent spaces, and try and write into them, because I feel like there's reasons as to why I'm silent about those things. And certainly Phil's work in that way influences me tremendously to find the silent spaces in my own life and to write into them instead of away from them. And this is one of those silences. It's called The Definition of Privilege. Silence. Nathan and Davis had the wad of bills we stole from Davis's father's work coat. So when they led us down the block to hop in, we followed, because we were thirsty and had no idea the darker skinned of us would only minutes later end up with their chests on the pavement. A stranger's hands scaling their waistlines and thighs, while the lighter skinned of us would watch from the sidewalk with our tongues pretzeled into knots like the barrels of cartoon rifles, and I was 9 years old, on the verge of beginning a 15-year obsession to prove I was not whatever it was that kept me off the pavement alongside Nathan and Davis. First, by quitting classical piano lessons and growing my hair out, and studying the blues. Then traveling across continents with groups of quasi-guilty Christians to build schools in Peru, or community centers in Israel, or soccer fields in Mexico, or wherever the fuck. And then working up the nerve to rock matching tracksuits every day in the upper lot at Pioneer High School. And basketball jerseys, 2 sizes too big. And start drinking 40s of Old English malt liquor like Ice Cube, with kids who lived in Eagle Point and North Maple, and reciting 2 short verses to my crush at the bus stop. Where I eventually started smoking so much weed before school that I got suspended for vomiting in the trash can during my 3rd period English class and had to go to summer school, which I really used as an opportunity to distribute the first of many mixtapes in my very serious rap career that I swore would be my ticket out of here, on which I used spoonfuls of words my mother did not understand until I finally, not somehow, landed in college and registered my white person, where a professor asked me to share the earliest memory I had of race, and so I told her the story of Nathan and Davis and Hoppin' and the stranger's hands, and she asked why whiteness made me so uncomfortable. And I said, it doesn't. But then I said, because I don't ever think about it. And she replied, not having to think about something sounds like an amazing privilege. And then I started seeing kids who looked just like me everywhere, whose whole lives were bending into knots like the barrels of cartoon rifles just to prove they weren't whatever it was that kept me off the pavement when I was 9 years old. Which is to say guilty for something they didn't do, which is to say I never owned slaves, I'd never say the N-word ever, which is to say invisible, I don't really have a race, which is to say the option of silence. Wow.